We are many, those that live beyond the veil of darkness, where nightmares are born. Sanity knows no bounds. Madness thrives on the suffering of the dead, rotting the souls in the souls of the weak. We have taken refuge here among the mortals in hope of harvesting on the innocent. Tread lightly in the search for the voices and stories of the departed, for in the shadows hides the evil that lurks within. As the light dies and slowly becomes night, the realm of the spirits rule the world. In the darkness of your mind hides your own inner demons, brings to life your deepest fears. Do you have what it takes to speak to the dead? Do you accept your own mortality? In the search for life after life, have you ever seen a ghost, spirit, or demon? Have the lights flickered and the room became as cold as death itself? Maybe you have, maybe it was your own subconscious preparing you for death. Constant song of what's left of your own existence in our search for the answers hidden behind the veil. Shed off the blinders and open your mind's eye. Listen to the story. We are they, we are incarnate,
And what is up, everybody? How y'all doing? Happy 4th of July Eve. I was actually contemplating whether or not there was going to be a show tonight. Missed it last night. Don't want to miss two in a row. Ducky, what's up, bud? How you doing tonight? Got home last night. I was so fucking sore. I was lifting some cable at work, and I lifted same way I always do. Same freaking way I do it 50, 60 times a week. Lifted up on that cable and it just felt I don't want to say a pop, but it's like even lifting this is rough. I pulled the shit out of something. And today had to do the same thing, slinging cable with a pulled muscle. It sucked. We left off the other night. We finished section 1 of Old Culinary, Nevada State Prison. We still have 3 more videos to go, roughly about an hour and 20 minutes each. So yeah, we have 4 hours of static camera left to go through. Then we'll get back to some audio for 3 or 4 recorders, come back and do another video. So yeah, we're gonna try to get this knocked out hopefully tonight and this weekend. Tomorrow definitely no show. Friday I don't know yet. I don't have to work. Took it a day off, so maybe I'll sneak on and play some video for the day. That way I don't have to do much, and whoever joins in, joins in. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, guys, hope you're all doing well. I think Ducky's the only one in here right now, but let's get to some video. Yeah. Little Jameson, ginger, and lime. Until tomorrow, I bought me a brand new bottle of Jack. Yummy. Yeah, Ducky, I got home. Took a ice cold shower. Tried to get the tension in the shoulder to go down. Got some dinner, and I was like, I couldn't even really reach up and comfortably control the mouse. So, yeah, I apologize for that. And today, it's 112 degrees in Vegas today. We have an extreme heat warning through the end of next week. Tomorrow, we're expected to break the heat record for this time of year. What a good way to spend your 4th of July, out in 115 degrees. Oh, freaking Vegas weather. You don't miss that shit at all. I don't miss it, and I'm inside. It's like, I don't want to go outside. No, it's just too hot. Thank God the warehouse is 75 degrees. Oh, freaking swamps keep it cool. And my desk is right beneath the direct current of the swamp coolers. So it is cooler than 75 at my desk. I get too overheated. I just go back, sit, put my feet up. Yeah, I'll be back with you in about 20 minutes. It is what it is. And that Jameson's going down too smooth. I was thinking about if I would have had time, rent a car Friday, and I don't want to take my Jeep out of town on a holiday weekend. Rent a car and just go up to like Goldfield or Tonopah, Nevada, and see if I can do some ghost hunting for the day and drive back. But it's like, no, then I'm gonna have to get a hotel up there. I can definitely get one, but the rates are going to be outrageous. Then I'd have to see if the team wanted to go, and then I'd get excuses. So I'm just going to wait and maybe go up in a month or so. Just charge up my gear and go by myself. I'll go visit the Clown Motel and just investigate the cemetery. Once you move away from Nevada heat, you don't miss it. You think you do. You're like, I miss Nevada. Uh, it's summertime. I don't miss it. Just let join you. I've not done any ghost stuff since I moved, really. And that seems to be the consensus with most people who have been around the paranormal. Once you leave your home state, where you were based in the paranormal, it's tough to get back into it. It's hard to find a reputable team. It's hard to get people motivated. Then it's hard to get a location because people are so hesitant about letting you in because they're afraid there's going to be damage done. Are you insured? Are you reputable? Are you going to fake it like the TV shows? They don't want their reputation or their property damaged. It's what's in Jackson. Zach's, yeah. Well, he doesn't ruin it. It's just the fact the networks ruin it. Once the networks go in there, they want exorbitant prices. Uh, and I've talked about it before. Zach is very reclusive. Uh, Not a bad thing. Uh, he's one of those people who just likes his personal space. And the longer I'm in the paranormal, the more I think I can relate to it. Yeah, I love getting around and talking to people. I'm a people person. I'll go out and sit and talk to the paranormal all night. But when I want to be left alone, leave me the hell alone. I think, Billy used to be a DJ here in Vegas for many years. A very successful DJ. Aaron has some pretty cool artwork out since he's been in the paranormal. And I actually do have a big steppin' tattoo. It's kind of cool. God, that's been like 8-9 years ago now. He put out, well, his sister designed his artwork for his logos. His sister posted to his social media a big steppin' tattoo that was a big steppin' design that was a skeleton. I saw it, immediately printed it out, took it down to my tattoo artist, and had him tap me up. Then fast forward a couple of years, I was with the team I was with. We went to a bar, and his girlfriend, Aaron's girlfriend, was a bartender there. And it's like, my buddy's like, you got to check out the big steppin' tattoo. And she's like, what? I showed her. She's like, I designed that artwork. It's like, yeah, I know. I saw it, printed it out, and got it tattooed. She's like, he's like, his sister did. But she's like, that is the coolest thing in the world. Takes a picture, sends it to Aaron. Aaron's like, you're joking me. That is cool. It was like, but then they ended up breaking up, a couple weeks after that. But the fact his girlfriend saw it is like, I recognize that. His sister did it. And I said that she did it. I apologize. It's like, she goes, that's awesome. It's like, but as I've gotten further into the paranormal, it's like motorcycles. The further you get into it, the further you draw away from the TV shows. You only watch the TV shows for ideas where to investigate. If you go to that area, see if you can get the same thing they do on TV. That'll tell you if the TV shows are bullshit or not, right there. Can you match the evidence to the TV show? I have, a couple different times. Destination Fear, which is now Project Fear on YouTube. Uh, they were in Nevada State Prison up in the execution area, and they got the name David Blackwell. I got the same name like 3 months after they did. And then I shared it with them when I went to Paracon. And that was, hold on a second. Make sure what I saw was just like light passing by. Okay, it's nothing. I waited in line for like half an hour to talk to him, and I was like, and I asked him straight out. I was like, "What evidence did you get at Nevada State Prison?" Go back 1 minute. Gotcha. There. Go back a minute. Yeah, you were looking right at the window in the pillar, right? You were right in that area. That's where I was looking when I rewound it. Oh, the ceiling. Okay. Uh, but like I said, I waited in line. It's like, so what evidence did you get at the prison? Didn't make the TV show. And she's like, what? I'm like, what didn't make the show? And she's like, a lot. Why? I'm like, yeah, it wasn't too PC, what, or wasn't appropriate for TV, was it? And she's like, no. I'm going, well, I said I was there, and this is like 5 months later after I investigated it. I was like, yeah, I just investigated the prison. We got over 300 EVPs. She's like, really? It's like, and this went on for about a half hour. People are still lining up to meet him and get autographs. I was like, I'll be over at Nevada State Prison Paranormal's table when you guys get done here. Come on over and we'll talk about it. She's like, okay. She's like, well, we'll be over there in a little bit. So they ended. They came over, and we were talking with the docents of the prison, and we're sitting there talking, and I showed her the folder where I typed everything out, and she's like looking through it. She goes, "You got all this evidence?" It's like, you do realize? I told her straight out. It's like, I take recorders, I hit record, and I set them down, and I leave them random areas throughout the prison. Then I carry the gear and the GoPro with me to match it up to the static recorders. And she was like, that's cool. It's like, that's how you got so many. So we're talking about the evidence we got, and a lot of the stuff that I got, they got, and vice versa. I never really believed in ghosts and stuff till I went to that prison. I had a buddy of mine right after he turned 18. He was at NSP for like 2 or 3 weeks, pending a transfer to a different prison for the remainder of his time, which was like 3 months. He said he couldn't sleep in there because it was haunted, and it wasn't discussed amongst the prisoners very often. But the guys that had been there for years said Every night something happens. The guards won't even talk about it. Guards won't even discuss it. And I think that's kind of funny. Like Joe, who's the former guard there, he doesn't believe in the paranormal. Yeah, and he won't really even talk about it. He goes, "I don't believe in that shit." It's like, dude, you were a guard here, and you don't believe in it. And he I don't think he's the fact that he doesn't believe. He just won't discuss it, which is fair, and it's very fair. Like I've been seeing stuff since I was like 5 or 6 years old. I've always believed my entire life. And no, the only horror movies that scared me as a kid were the ones based on true stories. Like Exorcist kind of freaked me out. Hills Have Eyes. And people like I've talked about, what's up, Edgar? How you doing? And I've told people this. I've talked about this on multiple shows. Next time you do a web search, what horror movies are based upon true stories? And it'll give you a list of like 100 of them. They'll be from like almost verbatim all the way down to very loosely based upon. Like Hills Have Eyes is based upon a story from like, I think it was like 1400s Ireland, where a family lived in a cave and they used to lure people in there and kill them. So, how much do you want to believe? First time I went there, I thought my buddy was fucking with me, throwing rocks and stuff down. The Conjuring is loosely based on true stories. If you, I'll share this. I used to be a member of the Warren Legacy Foundation. I am no longer am for personal reasons, but the director is a grandson of Ed and Lorraine, and he even said, and what's her name? One of the daughters that were in the first Conjuring. Was it Carol? God, I forget her name off the top. She was like the eldest daughter. Wrote 3 books about what happened in the Conjuring house. And from her stories, what happened in that house is far more scary than what the movie led on. And some very, very accurate representations were in the movie. When they were doing this, the seance upstairs, and the daughter was thrown across the room, that really happened. So, The Conjuring 2, was it the Enfield Poltergeist? That was loosely based on the movie. Conjuring 3, Devil Made Me Do It. Again, fallacies and fact. You really got to know the Warrens, and you can figure out what's real and fake in the movie. But yeah, back to what you just said, Ducky. I've had stones thrown down the hallway at me. I've been sitting there in the dark and I hear a pebble bounce off the metal bars. And I've even talked like the docents, Susan, Tammy, Michelle, and Chris. They sweep the hallways. The docents keep the hallways clean. There's no rocks in the hallways. How the hell are they getting there? Nothing like sitting in the dark and having a rock thrown at you. You know, maybe the rock's only about that big, but here's that clink, clank, 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 clank. It's like Edgar many times. Uh, I've seen him at the prison, Goldfield Hotel. Uh, Probably if out of not, let's figure, give 900 investigations. That's more than that, but I've probably seen apparitions 20, 25 times. I had one in the prison. There's two in the prison that I've seen. One, I was walking down infirmary. Walked right past the door. Thought somebody was standing in the doorway. I saw a full, like, manifested man, probably 6 foot plus, skinny, jeans. I just walked right past it. I was like, you see it out of your peripheral, and you kind of turn back and it's gone. Split second. I've seen them in Goldfield, Nevada, Goldfield Hotel. I've seen them running up and down or moving up and down the hallway. Residential, I did in Miracle Valley, Arizona. There was I've talked about this one. We just got back to the house. One of the houses we were staying in, where all the activity was. 2 in the morning. You lay down on the floor, put the blankets up, and all of a sudden you see shadows moving outside the window. There's no light. There's nobody out there at 2 in the morning, and you see people walking back and forth in front of the window. You look, there's nobody around. So it's could it be that your mind playing tricks on you? Of course. I've seen black masses walking up and down hallways. I've talked about that. Residential was a demonic, the only one I've ever done. Seeing solid black masses walk up and down the hallway. That is enough to freak you out. I had a residential where their roommate had died. One of their guy best friends. This is a house full of 3 females, and it's one of the few times where I've actually been able to describe the person down to the hairline, and I made the girl cry. And I still remember it. We're sitting at the kitchen table. I'm talking to her. I'm talking to the roommate. The other roommate was at work. The other roommate didn't want us there because she lost her son, and she was afraid her son would pop up as evidence, which it did, and made it worse. But she's like, "Yeah, my roommate." I'm like, "Yeah, it was a guy, right?" She's like, "Yeah." It's like, "He's here with you right now." She's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, 5'9", 5'10", kind of skinny, kind of the surfer bleach blonde, dirty blonde hair, kind of a surfer cut with a part down the center, the wavy hair, striped shirt, kind of baggy torn jeans." And I described his face, and she's like, "What?" She's like, I described him down to I said he had, a couple pop marks on his face from acne. He had a skinny pointed nose. I go through this. He had kind of skinny lips, big smile, and she just starts crying. And I'm not gonna say her name, but I was like, are you okay? She's like, Brent, wait here. What? And I had two other team members with me, and she's like, she runs upstairs, comes downstairs, and she hands me a picture, a Polaroid, not a Polaroid, a regular like point and shoot camera. And she shows me the picture, and it is exactly what I described to her, down to the hairline. And she's hysterically crying. She's like, "How do you know that?" I was like, He used to stand in that doorway. When you guys would talk, he would stand in that doorway and lean against the door." And she's like, "Yes." It's like, he's not hurting anymore. If I remember right, I think he had overdosed or killed himself or something. But I said, he's not hurting anymore. He's here with you, and he's happy. And we ended up getting his voice on EVP. It's the only time I've been able to describe an apparition in that detail. And it scared even the team. They're like, "Brent, what are you doing?" I could see him standing there. And I think at the end of it all, I don't think they have the energy. I think it comes down to energy there, Edgar. They don't have an energy to manifest. There could be some kind of spiritual law that says you're not supposed to manifest around the living. I think his energy wanted to manifest around somebody they knew they could trust to pass on a message that he was okay, that she didn't have to worry anymore. And they had been having some activity in the house. And this is the one I've talked about where she's a sign language interpreter and a photographer. So she brought her deaf friends over to help with the investigation. They had asked, and I'm like, yeah, I want to know how this works. So, like I said, her roommate did not want us there. When she walked in the door, she saw us, she went straight to her room. And we had the spirit box on. Lo and behold, what comes through the spirit box? The voice of her deceased son, like 6 years old. She hears it upstairs, comes running downstairs, bawling her eyes out. I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's like, we told you this was a possibility." She's like, "This is why I didn't want you guys here." She grabbed a bottle of wine and chugged it. She literally got blackout drunk because it bothered her that bad. I felt like an asshole. But my friend, like, her and I are friends now, but she was like, "Don't worry about her. She'll be okay. This is something she might have needed for closure." But she's not going to admit it. And she never did. But did the camera focus change for the camera? Let's go back 30 seconds and find out. I don't even call it life after death anymore. I call it life after life. You hear it in the opening video. I wrote that, what is there? Corgi, I just pulled a muscle in my neck and shoulder. Yeah, it did, Ducky. With the light shifting, with it getting darker in there, uh, we're going to see light and shadow kind of fuck with us a little bit. I don't think there's any way around it. No, Corgi, I was lifting some cable yesterday, and I lifted it like I normally do, and I just felt a little pop. It was like, oh, and I kind of went like this, and it's like, oh no, here we go. Oh. And today was even worse. And I had to lift cable all day today. And it's Socapex and Veeam power cable and stuff. It's anywhere from 20 pounds all the way up to like 160 pounds. And you're lifting that 160 with a fucked up muscle in your neck, and it's like, this is not going to end well. Be back. I have to run to the store for the wife real quick. I'll be here. But yeah, it's like, boss is like, are you okay? It's like, I will be by Monday. Corgi, you're not wrong. And I do it the same way every day. Sometimes 50 times a day. Anywhere from 2 or 3 times a day up to 50 a day. And it just caught me wrong. I was probably off balance. I think I just overexerted myself. And boss is like, are you sure you're okay? It's like, yeah. He goes, you're getting old. It's like, no, I just need to slow down. And yeah, glad I'm not there yet. It's like, he's like, you need to go to the doctor? It's like, nope, I'll be okay. He's like, Brent, slow down. It's like, no. If I slow down, the work's not going to get done. It's like, then Brent, we're going to be slow for the next 3 weeks. All right, I'll try. I didn't say I would. I said I'd try. It's like, Brent, you're stubborn. Yeah. Welcome to my life. You give me a project, I'm going to do it and get it done right, and I'm going to get it done at my pace. Then if I finish my project, I can jump in and help the rest of the team. He's like, he's like that, you're right, but you're wrong, but you can't say anything. He's like, okay. He goes, okay, Brent, you know what you're doing. It's like, but I'll slow down a little bit. Not a lot, but I'll take it easy today. Because I got a 4-day weekend. I don't want to spend it in bed. So I spent most of the day counting light cables. Like just simple XLR 5 and 4 pin cable. From 3 foot up to 300 foot. So it's like XLR 300 foot cable only weighs about 25, 30 pounds. So I can throw those around all day like it's nothing. It's like, you did that today? It's like, yep. He's like, okay. I love my job. I got great bosses. Well, you do, but not like that. I'm a workaholic. I don't know how to slow down. I just don't. And I think that's my biggest downfall. I don't know how to slow down when I'm working. Edgar, I have been to the Washoe. I have not investigated it. I kind of want to. My next year, if I go back to Carson, I'm gonna do the prison one day, and I'm gonna do the Washoe. And yes, it is very haunted. I've talked to people who have investigated it. Problem is, they want too much money. Uh, you can go in with audio all you want, but if you want to video anything, you have to pay a record. You have to pay a video fee, or at least that's the way it was last time I checked. You can go in there with all the audio gear you want. The second you want to record it, you got to pay a filming fee. If it makes you feel better, I have what I am, a giant pain in the ass. That's nothing new. Corgi, we've known this for years. We have known this forever. But we all love you, Corgi. We all love you, bud. I may have fallen down the stairs and busted my ass, literally. May have. May in caps means you actually did. You just don't want to admit it because you know. Walk much, dumbass? Oh, hold on. Volume change. Okay. Hear that skip in the audio? That is actually where the separation in the video when you put them together. That split second of as long as you didn't break your tailbone, you're okay. Because that would suck. Or so I've heard. Never did it, I don't intend to. You busted your tailbone? Oh my god, dude. Ooh. Put me down for no on that one. It's a giant pain in the ass. He can't even take a shit comfortably. Excuse my French. Uh, I think the worst fall I ever took was off my tow truck. I was unloading a truck. I had an F-350 on the deck, flatbed tow truck. Had it peaked all the way out. The truck wouldn't. So I was trying to get the hitch off to drag onto the ground so I could drive off, and the hitch would drag the truck off. So I had to get the J hooks off the truck, and it was already peaked. So I had to climb up the deck to get it off. And I got the first one off, reached over to get the second one off, and I stepped in some transmission fluid. I was at the peak of the truck. So you're talking 12, 15 feet up in the air. Here I come, straight off the truck. I must have flown up a couple feet, landed square on my back. And I was always taught from when I was training, throw your arms out. If you fall from a distance, from a certain distance, try to fan out, and you're going to disperse the energy across your body. I landed square across my shoulder blades, my back, and my lower neck. Like that. Took every ounce of oxygen out of my lungs. One of the forklift drivers saw it. Comes running over. Brent, you all right? He's like, you okay? I'm like, I couldn't, I'm trying to laugh. And I just had all the wind knocked out of me. I'm sounding like Flipper. He's like, Brent. I'm like, and I'm just laughing hysterically. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, It's like, so the boss, he ran and got the boss. Boss got me up. He's like, they got me into the office. Managed to get my air back in my lungs. I don't know how, because I was just out. It's like, put an air pump to my lungs and just pump me up. It was like, that's the hardest fall I ever took. And I think about it and I can feel it. Sit on a donut pillow. What, you got hemorrhoids too? Sorry, couldn't resist. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. But as far as pain goes, separating the cartilage in your ribs. That's another really painful one. Don't get a broken rib. Separate the cartilage. Oh, it took me like 2 months to recover from that one. That one was brutal. Got that from being hit by a car. You shattered your right knee. Ooh. Any knee injury, yeah. Somebody Nancy Kerrigan'd your ass. 40 foot and landed on it. Oh. You can see the look of pain in my face. You're lucky you lived. 40-foot fall is 40-foot fall on the ground is bad. I jumped into water from 100 once. Nope. Felt like I landed on concrete. Some of my injuries weren't because of the brightest things I ever did. Are they ever? I would have landed like you did, but I tucked and rolled. When your feet are up in the air like this and you're coming down like this, you don't have time to tuck and roll because you're backwards. You don't have time to turn over. You're going upside down like this. It's like, I was just straight up and down. Feet up in the air, head going toward the ground. I did that and I just prayed for the best. Thank God I didn't land on my neck. I would have broke it. If I would have had the option to tuck and roll, I would have. Nice little Aikido roll out of it. Just come up on your feet and walk away. But at that point, I probably would have broken my shoulder. No, my dumbass luck. Doc said if you'd landed on your back, there's a 3% chance that you'd be in a wheelchair. And that 3% for most people is more like 70%. The doc's like, I'm just going to soften the blow and say there's a slight chance you would have been in a wheelchair. Because the doctor doesn't want to scare the shit out of you. Be like, wait, what? So you mean I can do this again? There's a chance you're going to be in a wheelchair. Then you'd belong on a season of South Park. Timmy! Don't ask about the other 97%. Let's see, there's a 43% chance you'd die. There's another 42% chance that you'd be on disability. And there's a 1% chance where you'd be dead. I never worry about the percentages. If it's my time, it's my time. No, if I'd done that, it would have been dead. Yeah, don't ever look at percentages. If you want a short life expectancy, look at the percentages. You'll be worried so much you're not going to do anything in life. You're going to stay at home in a padded room and hope to God you don't electrocute yourself. So it's... When you go, leave an ugly corpse. They pull you out of that burning car and be like, find a pose that's just going to freak out freaking the paramedics. Just be like... That way when they open that car door, the paramedics are like, what the fuck? But the padding tastes good. Well, the padding tastes good. You can pull it out of the walls and put it in your pudding cups. Because you're not going to have any teeth to eat food. You're sitting in that padded room. You got cotton candy coming out of the walls. You're going to put that in your pudding cup or your Jello cup. It's going to add a little bit of flavor. Because everybody knows those Jello cups in the hospital have no flavor. What color, what flavor is it? Red. Is it cherry? Is it watermelon? Is it strawberry? No, it's red. That's the flavor. red. You don't have any anyways. Then you could just eat the cotton candy as it is, right out of the walls. If it's yellow, you got a lemon flavor. If it's pink, you got cotton candy flavor. Never had the blue. Heard it tastes like raspberry. There is literally no evidence. Brown is the best. You been eating ass again? It tastes like chocolate. Excuse me. Ghost Adventures, Edgar, not really. There's a few episodes that I like for the simple fact I've investigated those areas. The early seasons, like the first 5 seasons, were okay. The first 5 seasons, yes. Then random episodes here and there, yeah. Beyond that, no. All the Goldfield episodes, absolutely. Nevada State Prison, yeah. Bobby Mackey's, yes. The Conjuring, the Annabelle doll episode, yeah. Bonnie Springs Ranch, very early episode, yeah. Uh, Beyond that, not really. I want to know what's worse when your ass itches and you can't scratch it. I'm afraid you're going to irritate the bone a little bit. So you can deal with the itch or itch it and cry. Like I said, there's a lot of Ghost Adventures that I agree with and a lot I disagree with. Any paranormal investigator will tell you this. It's just, once you've been investigating for so many years, all right, Korg. Uh, and that's Edgar. That's exactly it. Gimmicky. And I mean no disrespect. If any staff of Ghost Adventures or any personnel sees it, I don't mean any disrespect when I say it like this, but there's no other way. You went from not haunted to possibly haunted to everything's haunted to everything's bad to everything's evil to everything's demonic. Now you back off to like, okay, it's haunted, the spirits aren't happy. You went up the scale, then dove off of it. When you have been with teams that have signed the NDAs about what goes on behind the scenes, you can't talk about it. When you've been on the teams, but you weren't there, you don't discuss it outside the team. You honor those NDAs. But it really makes you look down on the TV shows. It makes you not appreciate what they're doing. The other side of it, it's entertainment first, paranormal second. If they did it like real paranormal investigators, like we're doing here, would you actually sit and watch an hour TV show of one camera facing a room? No, you wouldn't. This is what goes on behind the scenes. This is the real paranormal investigations. The hours of analyzation. Not the cut and edited, this is what we got, and now we're going to act it out. And then again, like I've said, most investigations you go in for a night. Nevada State Prison, I go in for 3. TV shows, they go in from like 3 to 7 nights. And they cut it to fit an hour TV show. It's just one of those things. But you go, like I said, you go back to the early episodes. It was legit. Edgar, I've been to the museum 6 times. The last time was bad. I got some kind of attachment in there, and I didn't feel right for a week. The old doorman there, Angry Joe, was actually a friend of mine. I met him when I investigated Bonnie Springs Ranch. He used to tell the guides to use me as bait. And they did. And we got some amazing evidence. Too bad I wasn't able to record it. Zach's museum is more haunted than his TV shows. And I said what I said. I hope that makes it all the way up the scale on that one. I actually hope Zach would see that one. Your museum is more haunted than your TV shows. I can imagine getting that phone call. Oh, yeah, you really feel that way? Yeah, I'll tell you why. But there's things in that museum that are no joke. They got the head of the priest in there. Welcome back, Ducky. Uh, they've got, I think it was Ed Gein, the cauldron he cooked people in. They've got a couple of paintings in there that had Charles Manson's ashes. They've got the bed from the brothel out in Pahrump, Nevada, where the owner died in it. Peggy the doll, which is probably the most haunted thing in there. I think they have like Dahmer's glasses, Charles Manson's death robe or his hospital gown. So yeah, there's so much in there that has so much negative energy. They've got Kevorkian's van. All that. No, Annabelle is in Connecticut in the Warren Legacy Museum. Annabelle probably will never leave the hands of that family. And that's the way it should be. Just, you put so much negative energy in a building, so much different negative energy. That energy is going to come together. Only man I ever knew wrote letters to get into prison. Yeah. I'm gonna sound weird for saying this. I've watched a lot of his interviews. I have watched a lot of interviews that he gave in prison with news crews and whatever. Over the course of 40 years he was in prison, 30. I think the man was a genius. I think Manson was actually very intelligent. If you actually listen to some of his words, he wasn't dumb. He got a lot of people to follow him because of his charisma, because of his words. I mean, I'd never follow the man. That's a given. But listening to him talk, he's like, you're going, he might have been onto a little something here. He went about it wrong. He went about it way wrong. But he was not a dumb man. He tried to get transferred to the old state pen here. Then Corgi, do you agree? He was not a dumb man. This boy, I think he was clinically insane, but I think he was borderline genius. And for those that haven't seen the interviews, go watch them. You're going to go down a rabbit hole. You're going to go down a rabbit hole. And at the end, you're going to be like, what did I just watch? He was on the outer edge. He was a freak, but smart as hell. For the educate, I think he had what, like a 10th grade education or something? Or like a sophomore high school education? But insane is a legal term rather than a legal one. 9th grade, okay. So he had a freshman education. And he got followers just by speaking. People followed him blindly. On top of probably a lot of LSD, but that's a different story. A legal rather than a psychological. Yeah. I don't think he was psychologically or clinically insane. More of a, I don't want to say an anarchist mentality, but pretty damn close. Pretty damn close to an anarchist personality. He was knucking futs. Nobody's disputing that. The man was intelligent. Edgar, this is well known. He did. Peyote, mescaline, LSD, a lot of different drugs. A lot of different mind-altering drugs. Where are we at? We got 18 minutes left in this video. You know what? Let's go ahead and finish it. There's only 18 minutes left. I'm not going to do another show just for 18. Let's knock this out. I've never done peyote. Always wanted to. And I had the chance when I was in Big Bear. But it would have cost a lot of money. They were actually doing Native American ceremony, which made it legal. That it was 100% legal because Native Americans were holding it for like I said, for ceremony. Uh, I just didn't want to pay the $500. No, you don't. I think peyote depends on your psychological state of mind. It's just like shrooms and LSD. It all depends on this. It's a hallucinogenic. We know this, but it's like I said, I've indulged in some of the others, and you learn a lot about yourself. You really do. God, got an itch on the bottom of my foot. I'm trying to get. It's not working. Could you imagine doing either one of those and going ghost hunting? Tell me that would not be a trip. Being locked in a dark room with a flashlight and a digital recorder and try to conduct a paranormal investigation. No, it don't. No, it don't. It. I think it'd be very claustrophobic. Because you got these these bars and steel and concrete around you. It's going to be breathing on you, and those walls are just going to be doing this. It's going to make it bad. It's going to make it really bad. And I've never even made a joke about this in almost 16 years of investigating. I've never made a joke about doing a hallucinogenic while ghost hunting. And think about the scariest movies you've seen. You'd be living your own horror movie. Knowing what I've seen on both of those, I would never do it. Not even in this room that we're watching now. As big as this room is, I wouldn't do it. I got problems. Even joking about that, it's like, oh my God, Brent, what are you getting into? But I will say, guys, there will be no show Saturday. Do have a friend in town, so going to see her. For Friday, more than likely there's going to be a show. I can guarantee you there will be. Sunday, don't know yet. Got a 4-day weekend. I want to enjoy it a little bit. Couldn't call me full of shit anymore. I don't think I'd ever call you full of shit, Corgi. But I'd sure like to interview you afterwards. After you come down, be like, so, was I right? Full of shit. Sorry, I had to. Only way to tell if he's full of shit if his eyes are brown. Which I don't think they are. Wait, he's almost there. He's almost full. We got to brighten it up a bit. Oh, I know it'd be a mistake. I think it'd be. Everybody talks about bad trips. I think it'd be the worst trip. Especially if they locked you in one of the cells that's what? 6 by 10? You'd be. The walls would fall in on you. I'd almost be willing to say you'd either have a panic attack or a heart attack with the health weighted. Even if you were healthy, I guarantee you'd have high, excuse me, high anxiety, panic attack, or you'd just stroke out. I know there is a lot of prisoners locked up that you can make. Well, let's not even go there. With the 4th of July, you ever notice an increase of activity with fireworks? I've never paid attention to that. Then again, I've never investigated on the 4th of July. I've never honestly paid attention to it. So I can't even give you a honest answer. I'd say there'd be more activity around Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, Mexican holiday, 4th of July, leap year, New Year's, Christmas. I'd be willing to bet if you investigated the prison on Christmas, if you could deal with the cold and they'd let you in. If you brought in a small Christmas tree, I can almost assure you you'd have evidence. Be like, hey guys, I wanted to bring in a tree. Wish you guys, excuse me, a Merry Christmas. You know, if you want to celebrate, come on forward and we can sit around and talk all night. I think if you did it on a substantial holiday, I think the activity would be up there. 4th of July, not so much, but like I said, New Year's, Christmas, Halloween, been there, done that. So yeah, problem is some of these areas, they're not going to let you in on those days. These people want to be home with their families too. They're not going to be like, hey, this guy wants to go ghost hunting, I got to let him in. Halloween would be too obvious. Yeah, Corgi. I did the prison 2 years in a row on Halloween. Too cliche. That's why I swore I'd never do it again. But how cliche can you get that I'm doing it this year on Friday the 13th? That's as cliche as Halloween. But I don't think I've ever investigated on Friday the 13th. We'll find out. I really want to do it on the anniversary of Carol Cole's execution. For one, it's too damn cold. And for two, I don't think they'd let me in the prison for that one. Just to go in, because he's the spirit that communicates with me the most. Go in there on the anniversary of his execution. I bet you'd have to be in Vietnam for that one, or somewhere in Asia. have a tip-top tit. Uh, like I said, Dia de los Muertos, on the Mexican holiday, the right prisons, you might get some activity if you could speak Spanish. Uh, Again, yeah, Tet, you're right. You're not wrong. You are not even close to being wrong. Any holiday that celebrates the dead or the memory of the living would be ideal to investigate. Ghost hunt on a battlefield. They do it at Gettysburg all the time. Actually, all these Civil War battlefields, they do it all the freaking time. A friend of mine who lives out in, I think, Virginia, her house is actually on the grounds near an old battlefield. Her Ring door cam will occasionally pick up cannon fire on the speaker. And she's actually sent it to me. You can actually hear cannon fire. It's cool. So, if it gets close to the anniversary of the battles, why not? I don't think it's a bad idea. Corgi, a paranormal team actually investigated the grounds of 9/11. Uh, I think about a year after it happened, they got onto the grounds somehow, investigated it, posted the audio online. They had their own website. They posted all the audio that they got. It lasted about a week. It was taken down. It was taken down, and the team disappeared. I think the team got arrested, but the website was gone. Nobody ever got copies of the evidence or anything. It all disappeared. Never came up again. There's been teams talking about getting onto the grounds of Route 91 here in Vegas. It's fenced off. You're not going to get in. Too sacrilegious. I guarantee I guarantee the feds knocked on their door. Be like, this is federal trespassing. You're going away. Like Pearl Harbor, no. Uh, that'd be like investigating in Japan. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, no. Uh, there's teams that have tried investigating like Auschwitz, and they get escorted right out. If you even, from what I've been told, if you even mention the paranormal on the tours of the Holocaust camps, they escort you out like that. They immediately get you out of there, which they should. They absolutely should. I want to investigate the Titanic Museum here in Vegas, but it's hard to twist the right arms to get in. Why would you bring that evil? Corgi, because people don't give a fuck. Let's just not even sugarcoat this. People want to do it because they think it'll make them famous. Hey, I investigated Auschwitz. Good for you. Die. It's not even a question. Teams who do this, one, they don't last. Two, they're escorted out of the field. And three, they'll never make it back in. If the team breaks up and they try to join another team, they're done in the field forever. There is a high level of respect in this field when it comes to that. For the designated investigators, not the designated, the distinguished investigators. We won't stand for it. You're done. So I guess take it as you will. There's a lot of things that just no. See, I'd like to investigate at the White House and do Lincoln's bedroom. There was a ghost hunt video on Iwo Jima. Again, that's like a lot of these battleships and World War II ships that they have where you can go tour them, where sailors did die. They'll let you in there to investigate. You just got to pay the fees. But again, it's like, how far do you want to push it? It is pushing it, but it's not a mass grave. It's not like going to investigate Pearl Harbor. The ship did survive, so did the majority of the crew. But it's still pushing it. Now, if I was invited, that's a different story. Hey, Brent, we've been following you for a long time. You're very honest, very straightforward, and very sincere about what you do. We would like to invite you in to communicate with the memory of some of these sailors. Would you like to come in as our guest? Absolutely. I'm going to honor you and their memory, and we're going to do this right. But I wouldn't ask to come in. If you're invited, it's a whole different story. And there's the video. Hundreds of thousands of people killed on the island. The video was like 3 hours long. It was creepy. Yeah, you get that much energy in an area, it's gonna be. But yeah, it's just use your best judgment. You know, it's like if you get invited, yeah, seriously consider it. If not, do it. If you're not invited, don't even freaking think about it. You're just going to ruin your reputation, and is it worth it? If you've been in the field for a certain amount of time, don't risk it. Don't risk it for the biscuit. So a video of the funeral last from survivor from the Arizona. Wasn't he in his 90s? In his like late 90s or something? But and he wanted his ashes taken down to the wreckage of the Arizona. I think I remember seeing that. He wanted to be cremated and have the divers take his remains down so he could be with his crewmates for eternity. I remember watching that video. It's like, it's heartbreaking. It's noble, but it's also very heartbreaking. It's like, okay, I get it. Again, how far do you want to go? It's in the back of your mind as an investigator. I could do this, but no, I'm not going to ruin or tarnish my reputation. He wanted to be with his brothers in arms. And if I think he's saying he had nightmares all the time about it, and how he watched his friends suffer and die. And yeah, I remember that interview. You almost break down into tears with it. We got part 2 is 0. So we're through part 2 of this. We will get into part 3 either Friday or Sunday. Haven't decided yet. Just because you could doesn't mean you should. Corgi, 100% bud. You guys know me. You guys have been here long enough to know I'm not going to risk it. I'm just not. I have too much respect for the memory of the deceased. And the memories you can get from that. And I've talked about it before. This will be the last thing before I call it. I investigated the jail in Tonopah, Nevada, which was made from the steel from the USS Nevada when it was decommissioned. Not only did I get EVPs from the prisoners who died in that jail, I got EVPs from the ship. We had Morse code. We heard alarms going off that you hear on ships. We got EVPs from the sailors. So we might have to we're going to do a flashback show one night. We're going to go back through that audio because I think I still have it. We're just going to reanalyze it because I think that was one of the shows that I actually had to take down. So if I could find it, we'll do it. It'll be after we finish NSP. Yeah, bye-bye. You get banned. Metaphorical retack. Should be metaphorical retard. Come in here freaking advertising. Do the audio of that's what I have is the audio. Let me hold on real quick, since I still got you guys here. Incarnate Paranormal. Let's see, that would have been Tonopah, Nevada State Prison, Arts District. Hold on, let me see if I can find this real quick. Metropolis, Main Street, Lee Williams, no. Nye County Courthouse, okay. Bear with me. How long is this?
I want to get something out. I want to get my cat toy out.
If anybody is looking out over Tony, we are in the courtroom. See, here we go into the. Let's see if we got it. Hold on. Toilet. One. Okay. It's just Brent stepping for the recorder in the picnic area. Give guys an idea of anything other than full spectrum. I did not bring the Pentax with me this time. Had this on night vision, so you guys can see this is an original isolation cell. One light, one toilet, one bread. So give you an idea. Of how dark it is in here. Imagine spending a month in here and that is your only source of light twice a day. Not good. And Brent walking up the stairs for the recorder. He said you guys get an idea. There's your bread slide. These guys were not given a lot of sustenance, were they? And there's the prison controls. And you can hear them. These guys were not given a lot of sustenance, were they? And there's the prison controls. So you can hear a little bit of screaming in the background. Beyond that, guys, that's yells, exactly. We were hearing this throughout the investigation. That's Nye County Courthouse Jail. Yeah. It gave me the creeps even being in there. It's so claustrophobic. It's a big square. It's weird. But anyways, guys, I truly thank you guys for being here tonight. We'll be back either Friday or Sunday. Haven't decided yet. Hopefully Friday. We can get all the video knocked out. We are actually right now ahead of schedule. But, so we're in July, August, September, or August. We got 2 months to get all this done. And we'll do it. But anyways, again, guys, thank you for being here. Always appreciate it. Have a great night. Have a happy 4th. And I'll see you guys Friday. Good night. God bless, and see y'all later.